Frithjof Schuon, a Swiss philosopher and metaphysician, occupies a prominent position in the intellectual development of the traditionalist school of thought. His oeuvre significantly contributed to the advancement of a neo-traditionalism that privileges metaphysical principles, spiritual realization, and the unity of all religions. Schuon's corpus is particularly germane for grasping the disjunctive between modernism and postmodernism, two divergent worldviews that have exerted considerable sway over the cultural and philosophical discourses of the last century. By scrutinizing Schuon's biographical and intellectual trajectory, one can acquire an enhanced apprehension of the cultural and philosophical currents that have engendered our current milieu. Schuon was a Swiss philosopher and metaphysician who played a key role in the development of the traditionalist school of thought. Like many traditionalists, Schuon was deeply critical of modernity and sought to revive the spiritual and cultural traditions of the past. Through his work, Schuon advocated for a neo-traditionalism that emphasized the importance of metaphysical principles, spiritual realization, and the unity of all religions. Schuon was born in Switzerland in 1907 and spent much of his early life studying art, literature, and philosophy. As a young man, he was drawn to the esoteric teachings of various mystical traditions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Sufism. He also became involved in the perennialist movement, which sought to promote the universality of religious experience and the common ground shared by all spiritual traditions. Schuon's early writings explored the themes of symbolism, mysticism, and traditionalism. He argued that modernity had severed the link between humanity and the transcendent, and that the pursuit of material progress had led to a spiritual and moral decline. In response, Schuon sought to recover the traditional wisdom of the past, emphasizing the importance of spiritual discipline, the cultivation of virtue, and the pursuit of divine knowledge. His ideas became more widely known through his association with the traditionalist school, founded by the French philosopher René Guénon. The traditionalists argued that all authentic spiritual traditions were based on a common metaphysical understanding, and that the divisions between religions were superficial and cultural in nature. They emphasized the importance of traditional values, hierarchy, and authority, and rejected the liberal and democratic values of modernity. Schuon's writings on religion and spirituality were highly influential among traditionalists and other esoteric thinkers. He argued that the ultimate goal of human life was the realization of the divine, and that all spiritual practices were aimed at this goal. He also emphasized the importance of symbolism and myth, arguing that they provided a window into the transcendent reality that lay beyond the material world. One of Schuon's key contributions to the traditionalist school was his emphasis on the unity of all religions. He argued that all authentic spiritual traditions shared a common core of metaphysical knowledge, and that the apparent differences between them were merely cultural and historical in nature. He believed that this recognition of the universality of religious experience could help to bridge the divides between different cultures and foster a deeper sense of spiritual unity. Modernity has been characterized by a crisis of meaning and values, which has given rise to various critiques and responses. Two of the most prominent of these are the traditionalist critique and the postmodern critique. The traditionalist critique emphasizes the importance of traditional values and metaphysical principles in guiding our lives and shaping our communities. It seeks to revive the spiritual and cultural traditions of the past, and argues that these can offer a meaningful and authentic response to the crisis of modernity. Proponents argue that it is a necessary response to the erosion of traditional values and the rise of moral and spiritual decay. The postmodern critique, on the other hand, rejects the idea of universal truths and emphasizes the contingency and relativity of all knowledge. It seeks to deconstruct the dominant cultural narratives of modernity and emphasize the complexity and diversity of individual experience. Critics of postmodernism argue that it promotes a culture of nihilism and moral relativism that is fundamentally corrosive to our spiritual and cultural heritage. In the realm of art, modernism emphasized the importance of individual expression, abstraction, and experimentation. However, this approach was often criticized for its rejection of traditional forms and values, and for its emphasis on the individual over the collective. The postmodern approach to art can be seen as a response to these criticisms, emphasizing the importance of context, appropriation, and deconstruction. However, this approach has also been criticized for its rejection of universal values and its tendency towards nihilism and relativism. In the realm of spirituality, modernity is often associated with the decline of traditional religion and the rise of secularism and materialism. The traditionalist response to this trend has been to seek a revival of the spiritual and cultural traditions of the past, emphasizing the importance of metaphysical principles and traditional values. The postmodern response has been to reject the idea of universal truths altogether, and instead focus on the contingencies and complexities of individual experience. The repudiation of universal truths is a perilous posture for the human psyche and society at large, as it eschews the notion of an objective reality and moral values. This entails disavowing the existence of immutable and invariable laws that govern the universe and the ethical principles that underlie human conduct and decision-making. One example of such inviolable laws is the gravitational law, which governs the behavior of all objects in the cosmos. It applies to all objects, regardless of their position, size, or shape. Another instance is the laws of thermodynamics that dictate the transfer of energy in all systems. These fundamental laws have been exhaustively examined and authenticated by scientific inquiry, and exhibit the inalterable and universal nature of the universe. Ironically, it is the same secularists and atheists who advocate scientific inquiry as a means to resolving the world's issues, despite the fact that such inquiry has revealed the universality and unchanging nature of the laws that regulate our world. Quantum physics is a domain of physics that is concerned with the fundamental aspects of the universe and its constituents, such as atoms and subatomic particles. Research in this field has established the existence of objective, unchanging, and universal laws that govern the universe, despite the probabilistic and unpredictable nature of some of its components. Hence, the negation of universal truths is a flawed ideology that disregards the existence of objective truth and morality, which are critical to our comprehension of the universe and our place in it. This rejection is akin to the dystopian realities portrayed by the likes of George Orwell and Aldous Huxley, where veracity is relative and morality is arbitrary. The double-slit experiment is a foundational study in quantum mechanics that illustrates the wave-particle duality of matter and the influence of observation on particle behavior. The experiment involves the emission of electrons through two slits and their detection on a screen behind the slits. In the case of single electron emissions, the detection pattern on the screen reflects discrete particles' behavior. However, when the electron beam is continuous, an interference pattern emerges, indicative of wave-like behavior. The concept of superposition posits that particles occupy all possible states until observation forces them to collapse into a single state. Additionally, recent experimental variations, including the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, suggest that observation can retroactively affect particle behavior, potentially challenging classical causality. Prominent scientists who have contributed to the study of quantum mechanics and the double-slit experiment include Richard Feynman, John Wheeler, Anton Zeilinger, Alain Aspect, Serge Haroche, and Brian Greene. Feynman is known for his contributions to the development of quantum electrodynamics and his Feynman diagrams, which visualize particle interactions. Wheeler is credited with coining the term black hole and his contributions to quantum gravity. Zeilinger is a leading expert in quantum information and has conducted groundbreaking research on quantum entanglement. Aspect is known for his experimental work on quantum entanglement and violations of Bell's inequality. Haroche is a Nobel laureate for his work on the measurement and control of quantum systems. Greene is a leading string theorist and popular science author, known for his contributions to the development of M-theory. The double-slit experiment, a cornerstone of quantum mechanics, has revealed that particles exhibit both wave-like and particle-like behaviors. Specifically, The experiment demonstrates that the manner in which electrons behave is contingent upon whether or not they are being observed. When electrons are emitted one at a time through the two slits, and their positions are detected on a screen behind the slits, they appear to behave as particles, creating a distinct pattern on the screen. Conversely, when electrons are emitted continuously through the two slits, they create an interference pattern on the screen, indicating their wave-like nature. This phenomenon, known as wave-particle duality, is fundamental to the principles of quantum mechanics, and suggests that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until an observation forces them to collapse into a single state. Moreover, variations of the double-slit experiment, such as the delayed choice quantum eraser, have suggested that an observation can retroactively affect particle behavior, further challenging classical notions of causality. The experiment has significant implications for modern scientific thought, and its findings resonate with the neo-traditionalist philosophical tradition. Researchers such as John Wheeler, Richard Feynman, and Alain Aspect have contributed to our understanding of the enigmatic and mysterious nature of reality that the experiment highlights. The experiment challenges the deterministic and fully comprehensible view of the universe that characterizes modernism, and instead highlights the complexity and mystery of the universe beyond our comprehension. The experiment reveals that the universe is not just the sum of observable parts, but that the fundamental nature of reality is both beyond our grasp and subject to our perceptions and interactions with it. Moreover, the experiment challenges the emphasis on empirical evidence and rational analysis as the only means of gaining knowledge about the world. It reveals the existence of a non-material realm that cannot be easily measured or quantified, and has profound implications for our understanding of the nature of reality. This idea resonates with the neo-traditionalist perspective, which emphasizes the importance of non-rational and non-material aspects of human experience, such as spirituality and the divine. In conclusion, the double-slit experiment, as studied by researchers such as Wheeler, Feynman, and Aspect, challenges modern scientific paradigms and highlights the limitations of human knowledge and perception. Its implications for our understanding of reality and the importance of non-rational and non-material aspects of human experience resonate with the neo-traditionalist philosophical tradition. Solomon Asch's conformity experiment, commonly referred to as the Asch paradigm, is a seminal inquiry in social psychology that delves into the degree of conformity to group opinion among individuals. This experiment involved participants viewing a series of lines of varied lengths and matching them to a standard line, while being placed in a group with several confederates who deliberately provided incorrect answers. Asch's study revealed that a significant proportion of participants conformed to the erroneous answers offered by the confederates, even though they were aware of the group's inaccuracy. Precisely, 75% of the participants conformed to group opinion at least once during the experiment, while 32% conformed to the group's incorrect opinion on every trial. Asch's conformity experiment has garnered immense recognition for its contribution to demonstrating the power of social influence and the extent to which individuals are willing to conform to group pressure, despite the potential inaccuracy of group opinions. The experiment's findings have stimulated extensive replication and provided impetus for further research on conformity, group dynamics, and social influence. The Asch paradigm has crucial implications for comprehending social behavior and group decision-making dynamics. It illuminates the importance of individual agency and the ability to resist social influence in the face of group pressure. The experiment also highlights the necessity for individuals to remain cognizant of the power of group influence and to remain willing to challenge the consensus view when it is necessary. The Asch paradigm provides an illuminating insight into the social dynamics that exist in society and the extent to which individuals are willing to conform to group pressure. In the context of modernity, the findings of the Asch paradigm are particularly relevant. The experiment suggests that individuals may go along with the prevailing cultural trends, not because they necessarily agree with them, but because they do not want to stand out from the crowd or face social rejection. The conformity to modernity can be viewed as a manifestation of social influence, where individuals are influenced by the dominant norms and values of their society. This influence is particularly prevalent in modern societies, where the influence of mass media and social media can be incredibly potent. Asch's findings suggest that many individuals may adopt modern values and attitudes because they believe that is what everyone else is doing, rather than because they are genuinely convinced of the merits of modernity. One aspect that has undeniably stood out in the postmodern era is the emergence of postmodern literature. While postmodernism is often contrary to neo-traditionalist thoughts and beliefs in other areas of societal engagement, postmodern literature can be considered one of the few redeeming qualities of this period. One of the reasons for this is that postmodern literature, particularly the works of Chuck Palahniuk and Bret Easton Ellis, is known for its scathing critiques of modernity, consumerism, mass media, and mainstream society. These authors have created works that deconstruct and dismantle modern society, exposing its flaws and offering a fresh perspective on the world. Moreover, postmodern literature has created a new literary movement that has the potential to disrupt the status quo. In addition to Palahniuk and Ellis, there are other writers such as James Sallis, whose novel Drive has been critically acclaimed for its take on the gritty underworld of Los Angeles. Other niche authors such as Tao Lin, whose works include Taipei and Trip, and David Foster Wallace, known for his book Infinite Jest, further add to the growing movement of postmodern literature that challenges and disrupts the norm. The impact of postmodern literature can also be seen in the realm of film, with directors like Wes Anderson creating a unique style that mixes elements of surrealism, nostalgia, and whimsy, while at the same time offering critiques of mainstream society. Anderson's work, such as The Grand Budapest Hotel and Moonrise Kingdom, is known for its colorful imagery, quirky characters, and unconventional narratives, which add to the larger cultural conversation that postmodern literature has sparked. Throughout this discussion, several themes have emerged that showcase the contrast between modernism and postmodernism. From the rejection of universal truths and the erosion of objective morality, to the cultural shift towards a consumerist and mass-produced society, the overwhelming weight of modernity can be felt in every aspect of our lives. The Asch paradigm experiment illustrates how modern society has conditioned us to conform to the dominant narrative, even when we know it to be false. The study also highlights the need to actively question and challenge the norms of our society, rather than blindly accepting them. Similarly, the Schrödinger's cat experiment and the broader field of quantum mechanics showcase how scientific discoveries have challenged our traditional understanding of the universe. However, these discoveries have also demonstrated the existence of universal and objective unchanging laws that govern our reality. Postmodernism's rejection of universal truths is not only contrary to these scientific discoveries, but also a threat to the very fabric of our society, as it undermines the objective moral values that are essential for the functioning of any civilization. Postmodern literature, such as the works of Chuck Palahniuk, Bret Easton Ellis, and James Sallis, stand out as one of the few redeeming aspects of postmodernity. These works dismantle the norms of modern society, exposing the rot and corruption that lies beneath. They offer a powerful critique of consumerism and the mass media, urging us to reject the dominant narrative and find meaning in our lives beyond material possessions. Finally, the rise of neo-traditionalist groups and their rejection of modernity represents a broader movement towards a reclamation of traditional values and objective morality. These groups seek to re-establish the connection between the divine and the material world, recognizing the importance of spirituality in a world that has become increasingly secularized. Taken together, these themes illustrate the stark contrast between modernism and postmodernism, and the need to actively resist the rot of modernity. The rejection of universal truths and objective morality, the erosion of traditional values and the rise of consumerism, and the conformity of the dominant narrative are all symptoms of a society that has lost its way. Only by actively questioning and challenging these norms can we hope to build a better future, one that is grounded in objective truth, traditional values, and a deeper spiritual understanding of the world. Gurdjieff was a highly influential spiritual teacher and philosopher of the 20th century. Born in Armenia in 1866, Gurdjieff grew up traveling extensively throughout Asia and Europe, studying a variety of esoteric traditions and disciplines. He is most known for his creation of the spiritual system known as the Fourth Way, which is characterized by a focus on self-awareness and personal transformation through the integration of various spiritual practices and exercises. One of Gurdjieff's most important works is his book, Beelzebub's Tales to His Grandson, a complex and highly symbolic allegory that explores the nature of human consciousness and the pursuit of higher states of being. This work is notable for its intricate and highly layered narrative structure, as well as its incorporation of numerous philosophical and spiritual concepts from a variety of different traditions. When comparing Gurdjieff's work to that of Frithjof Schuon, it becomes clear that both individuals shared a deep interest in exploring the nature of reality and consciousness from a variety of different perspectives. However, while Schuon tended to focus more on traditionalist interpretations of various spiritual and philosophical concepts, Gurdjieff's work was characterized by a more eclectic and experiential approach to spiritual exploration. Additionally, while both Gurdjieff and Schuon emphasized the importance of spiritual transformation and the attainment of higher states of consciousness, they differed somewhat in their methods and approaches to achieving these goals. Schuon placed a strong emphasis on adherence to traditional religious practices and doctrines, while Gurdjieff's Fourth Way system was designed to be more flexible and adaptable to the needs and abilities of individual practitioners. Despite these differences, both Gurdjieff and Schuon made significant contributions to the development of modern spirituality and philosophy, and their work continues to be studied and appreciated by individuals seeking a deeper understanding of the nature of consciousness and reality. Mircea Eliade, one of the most renowned historians of religion of the 20th century, dedicated his life to the study and exploration of the religious experiences of humanity. His work, filled with poetic imagery and historical references, provides a rich understanding of the human spirit and the meaning it seeks in life. But beyond his scholarship, Eliade's life itself stands as a testament to the anti-modernist philosophy he espoused. Eliade was a prominent Romanian philosopher, historian of religions, and writer whose work has had a lasting impact on the study of religion and the humanities. Born in Bucharest, Romania in 1907, Eliade was influenced by the cultural and intellectual ferment of the time, which saw the emergence of new artistic movements and the rise of nationalism. Eliade's interest in religion and mythology led him to pursue studies in philosophy and history at the University of Bucharest, where he developed a deep interest in the religious traditions of India, the Middle East, and other parts of the world. He later traveled extensively throughout Asia, studying under the tutelage of various teachers and scholars, and eventually earned a doctorate in philosophy from the University of Calcutta. Eliade's contributions to the field of religious studies were far-reaching and profound, and his work has had a significant impact on the way scholars understand the nature of religious experience and the role of religion in human culture. Eliade's studies of ancient religions in particular have been praised for their depth of insight and originality, and have contributed significantly to our understanding of the religious traditions of pre-modern societies. Eliade's most influential works include his classic study of ancient religious practices, The Sacred and the Profane, which explores the ways in which religious symbols and practices serve to distinguish the sacred from the profane in human culture. His other major works include Patterns in Comparative Religion, Myths, Dreams, and Mysteries, and The Myth of the Eternal Return. In contrast to the rationalist and positivist trends that dominated much of the intellectual discourse of his time, Eliade emphasized the importance of spiritual experience and the symbolic dimensions of human culture. He saw the rise of modernity and the decline of traditional religious institutions as a great loss to humanity, and called for a return to the spiritual values and practices of the past. Mircea Eliade, like Gurdjieff and Schuon, was a critic of modernity, rejecting the secularization and desacralization of the modern world. However, unlike Gurdjieff and Schuon, Eliade focused on the study of religion and its role in shaping the human experience. Eliade believed that religion was essential for humanity to understand the world and the human condition, and that the modern world had lost touch with this understanding. In contrast to Gurdjieff's esoteric and mystical teachings and Schuon's traditionalist perspective, Eliade's philosophy focused on the study of religious phenomena and the relationship between religion and culture. He believed that through the study of myth, symbol, and ritual, we can gain insight into the human experience and the ways in which people have attempted to understand and interact with the sacred throughout history. Eliade's approach to religion was also distinct from Schuon's traditionalism, in that he did not advocate for the adherence to a single, specific religious tradition. Instead, he saw value in the diversity of religious traditions and believed that each had something unique to offer in the search for the sacred. Overall, while Gurdjieff, Schuon, and Eliade shared a rejection of modernity and a belief in the importance of spirituality, their approaches differed significantly. Gurdjieff focused on mystical teachings, Schuon on traditionalism, and Eliade on the study of religion and its role in shaping human culture and experience. G.I. Gurdjieff, Frithjof Schuon, and Mircea Eliade are three pivotal figures in the 20th century anti-modernist movement. Their philosophical and spiritual ideas have challenged and transformed traditional Western thought, presenting an alternative view of the world and its meaning. Although their approaches differ, each of these thinkers has made a significant contribution to the anti-modernist cause, and their work continues to be widely read and studied today. Gurdjieff's teachings, which blend elements of Eastern mysticism and Western esotericism, have garnered a significant following since their inception in the early 20th century. His approach emphasizes the idea of self-transformation and the need to escape the constraints of modernity in order to achieve a higher state of consciousness. Schuon, on the other hand, emphasizes the importance of traditional religious values and the need for a return to the spiritual roots of Western civilization. His writings on perennial philosophy and metaphysics have been influential among both scholars and spiritual seekers. Eliade's approach is perhaps the most academic of the three, and his work is widely studied in the field of religious studies. He is known for his contributions to the study of myth, ritual, and religious experience, and his writings have challenged the dominant modernist view of religion as a mere human invention. Eliade's work has also influenced the development of a new approach to the study of religion, known as religious experience theory, which emphasizes the subjective, experiential aspects of religion. Despite their different approaches, all three of these thinkers share a common goal: to challenge the dominant modernist view of the world and offer an alternative vision of human existence. Their ideas continue to be studied and debated by scholars, spiritual seekers, and those seeking an alternative to the prevailing cultural and philosophical currents of our time. As such, they remain important figures in the anti-modernist movement, and their contributions will continue to be celebrated for years to come. The discussion of anti-modernism, traditionalism, and neo-traditionalism has given us an insight into the philosophical underpinnings of these movements, which are based on a critique of modernity. It is no secret that the Western world has been in a state of decline for several decades, and this decline can be traced back to the Enlightenment and the advent of modernity. This decline is evident in the cultural, social, and economic spheres, and it has led to a sense of malaise and disenchantment among many people. One of the most significant problems of modernity is the erosion of meaning and purpose in people's lives. Modernity, with its emphasis on rationality, progress, and individualism, has led to a sense of alienation and disconnection from the larger community and the cosmos. This sense of disconnection is reflected in the rise of mental health problems, such as depression and anxiety, which have become a significant concern in modern society. Psychological studies have shown that people who have a sense of purpose and meaning in their lives are happier, healthier, and more resilient to stress. Studies have also shown that people who are connected to their communities and have a strong sense of identity and belonging are more likely to be successful and fulfilled in life. However, modernity has eroded these fundamental aspects of human life, leading to a sense of emptiness and meaninglessness. Another significant problem of modernity is the rise of consumerism and materialism. Modern society places a great emphasis on material possessions and the accumulation of wealth. This emphasis has led to a culture of consumerism and hedonism, which prioritizes the pursuit of pleasure and self-gratification over other values, such as community, family, and spirituality. The rise of consumerism has also led to environmental degradation and the depletion of natural resources, which pose a significant threat to the planet's sustainability. The burgeoning traditional and neo-traditional movements proffer a compelling alternative to the dominant culture of modernity, exalting the value of community, spirituality, and the acquisition of purpose and meaning in life. These movements regard the centrality of cultural heritage, tradition, and the sagacity of bygone times, which modernity has largely neglected. In this vein, they offer a way to re-establish links with the larger community and the cosmos, and to foster a sense of purpose and meaning in life. The decline of the Western world is a multifaceted conundrum that can be traced to the advent of modernity. The atrophy of significance and purpose in people's lives, the proliferation of consumerism and materialism, and the degradation of the environment are all telltale indications of the rottenness that has taken hold. Anti-modernism, traditionalism, and neo-traditionalism present a possible way to redress this malaise by championing the importance of community, spirituality, and purpose and meaning in life. Through embracing these movements, we may endeavor to assuage the afflictions of modernity, fortifying a renewed sense of connection with the cosmos and a rejuvenated commitment to collective welfare. Thank you for listening, for coming onto the path of enlightenment, and may God bless you both in your well-being and your pursuit of esoteric knowledge.